Yo, what's up guys, this is Ducky, back with another Jett tutorial. This one's on Split. Just before we get started, I want to say subscribe if you are a Jett main or you want any other tips for other characters, because I'm planning on making a lot more videos in the near future and having like a more consistent upload schedule. Someone in my last video commented that they want a Jett tutorial, so I decided to do one on Split. Jett's good for opping on pretty much every map, if you know how to op, so I'm gonna start by making a Split tutorial. So let's start with A site. If you're opping, it's pretty common to hold
Here.
this angle. You can hold it from many different spots. It's good to hold it from screens if you want to rotate quickly, because if you're holding here and then they call that it's going to be a fast B push, you can just, you know, leave here and you're closer to B if you're holding here than like up here or something. But you can also, yeah, you can hold like this. Let's talk about the basics of opping first, if you are new to like opping or new to Jett. So basically, you can scope or double scope. Usually it depends for me how far I am. So here I'd probably double scope, but it's a little bit easier to, like, you know, maneuver and flick and hit shots. But let's say you shoot and then you see multiple people, so you want to shoot and then dash. In this case, I'd probably dash to the right so I can go heaven. So it would be like this. I see one, and then, you know, I run. They know I have an op now. They know that, like, so after you shoot, usually as Jett, people are either gonna be inclined to push you really fast or just completely rotate, and you can use this to your advantage once you realize this. So you get the kill. It's 5v4 now. It's very good. If they know you have an op, you can come back up here on A site and you can hold like this. Make sure you don't come up ramp like this. Same thing applies. You get a free kill. You wanna peek off, run off the angle after you shoot. You can also hold an angle like this if you have a teammate watching here and you know you aren't exposed. It's also a kit op from elbow to hold here. You can op close right here and go sight, and then op from back sight if you expect like a fast A push. Another thing you can do before the round starts is come up here and wait for the wall to drop, and then hold an angle like this. This is a bit hard to hit a shot, but it's good for if you want to like rotate to mid. So those are the main angles from A site. I sometimes use this one. This is a little risky though, because you're kind of stuck if you miss. You can dash aside, but it's a little worse. You can opt from elbows, fine. You can also opt from like right here, because people won't usually expect you to hold this close, and then you can just either dash or run back to sight. Opt from like back here whenever they run up. Another thing you have to be careful of whenever you're playing against good players is that they might jiggle you. So if you know someone's gonna jiggle you like this, it's hard to hit shots with an op, so you can wait that out until they actually run out, or try to hit them as they jiggle, but either way, you know. Yeah, so now we're gonna move on to mid. I'm gonna not cut. I'm gonna try to make this video a little bit quicker than my last one. My last one was pretty long. Explaining how to op shouldn't take as long anyway, because it's like I'm explaining how to take a whole site, mainly just for defense anyway. I'll show you some op on attack strategies as well, but these are mainly for defense. So another good place to start is right here in vents. I wouldn't play here every round because it's kind of predictable. But if you're like playing A, I usually, yeah, if you're opping, it's very good to rotate, as Jett said that earlier. You start wherever you expect them to go, basically, and if they aren't there, then you just rotate quickly so you can get a good shot whenever they're taking sight. Because if you try to retake with an op, it's much harder to get kills. So keep that in mind. So if you're holding here early, the best place you can hold is like this right here. People usually won't jiggle this unless they know that you op here. But this is usually a free kill. Sometimes people walk over to this corner and try to peek vents. Sometimes you'll just walk out. It's a free kill. You get a kill. What I usually do, I run back, I rotate all the way around, like to B heaven, to make sure I don't come B, or if my team's calling A, I'll do the same angles as I just said. If you're holding from B heaven, which I actually wouldn't really recommend this, but you can hold like this. Not that I wouldn't recommend it, I just don't do this. It's because they can walk up on you right here, and holding like this is kind of dangerous. You can do this if you want to peek early, like this or something. You can even like shoot behind like that, shoot through the wall, try to get a kill. That's about it for mid. The main thing is holding from vents holding angle like this, get the shot, run away, reposition yourself for another kill somewhere else because they're not going to re-peek you most likely unless they have big egos. And for B, it's about the same thing as A, except there's only really one angle. Well, there's a couple angles you can hold, depends how close or how far you want to hold. So I usually like to sit here, wait for the wall to drop, and when the round starts, I just kind of run up, shoot. You do have to be careful because if you're like running, people will do sit here and hold this angle. You can get one tapped. You can also get opt. You can get one tapped by a sheriff. Just make sure that you're very aware and you're very quick to shoot because you can also get quickly outplayed. And if you peek and you see like 3 people, you're gonna want to dash back, and then you can come back, hold an angle like this. After you come back, you can also just start here if you want. You don't have to peek aggressive like that, but that's good if they don't expect it. But if you're holding here, make sure that your team has B heaven. And this is also a second free kill if you got the first one. You can also come back like this, hold an angle like this. You can also start here if you want. Make sure just hold down the orb. The only thing about holding from here and anywhere on B side is that you have to be careful of B heaven. Alright, so you can also hold from hell, which is kind of awkward because you can get sandwiched, but that's okay. The main thing is you can also hold from here. This is good. Yep. And if they're pushing on the site quickly, you can fall back to CT. Same thing as A site. You can hold an angle. Make sure they aren't playing too aggressive. And if they aren't, you can just run to heaven and try to get angles on people that are like pillar or backside, which would be here. Make sure you're not getting flanked from mid. You have someone watching that, or you have to be. Also, you have to be aware of it. You can hold like this, you know, kind of try to get backside as well. Be careful of hell. Make sure none's close. And then, if you already picked a 1 or 2, this should be pretty easy retake for your team. Either way, this is a good. You can also come out rafters if something's smoked. Make sure no one's default. Hold back sight for your team as they push, because someone's likely going to peek out from here. So free kills there. So that's pretty much it for defense. If you guys have any questions, like specific questions for specific spots or sites, let me know in the comments. I'm going to cut to attack now. And there's not going to be as much on attack, but I'll show you some basic ideas or strategies for opping as Jett whenever you're attacking on split. Okay, so for attacking, we're gonna start on A again with an op. Basically, it's kind of how you, whenever you use a rifle, you want to like clear angles. So like, someone could be pushing here. As soon as the round starts. You want to kind of play slow, make sure no one's pushing. Hold it for a few seconds, and make sure your team's with you. There's no one there. You can kind of go like this. Someone usually likes to peek from here sometimes. Sometimes people go to the left, but not as often. They cannot be here if you immediately start here. So, you go like this. From here you can go ramp or you can peek screens in heaven. I wouldn't suggest pushing too hard because you have an op. You can go like this, smoke this. You can also just dash across, clear. They can be behind here, so be aware of that. You can kind of jiggle, and then if your aim's good, you can just, you know, kind of jiggle and then just kill them. But if the enemy team calls it, they're rotating, they're going to be coming from vents, so you can hold an angle like this, or you can just hold back here, because someone could already be in heaven. This is an okay angle to hold. It provides a lot of support for your team as they try to push on a site, because no one can peek from heaven unless they're already like right here, where it's not in your vision. Otherwise, you have heaven locked down for your team. From here, you can hold right here. You can just hold screens. It's kind of risky to push up on your own. It's okay to kind of push up with your team if you have an op. You can come up here like this as your team's coming up like this, so that you're not the first person to get shot. I wouldn't suggest pushing too hard, but if your team's, you can smoke here. If your team's pushing on the site, you know, you can run with them. Come up like this. You can hold screens like this. Make sure that it's all about on attack. It's really just about the same thing as defense. You're just kind of holding angles, but you're trying to do it like in a way that supports your team more instead of playing like by yourself, I would say. So yeah, make sure you're not like completely on your own, because then obviously if your team dies on site, they're just gonna get the defuse pretty quickly. But that's about it for A. If you're feeling really aggressive, you can push up into screens with an op, but it's kind of risky. Because, like, unless you can no-scope effectively, which is always kind of just RNG, obviously, then, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and go into mid here. You can start sewers or from market. Market's probably optimal. So this is all just about whoever gets the first shot off. If someone else is opting here, which is sometimes often, you have to be pre-aimed and ready to like flick onto wherever they are, because they can be holding right here, here, or here. Usually common for them to hold here or in the middle, especially with the change in vents there. But so yeah, you can kind of peek like this. Obviously that went off, but you can always jiggle. You can have your team flash. You can also have your team smoke, but then this isn't as good to peek. The same thing applies here. You're peeking out of sewers. This is an angle that people like to hold sometimes, so pre-peek this. They can be in this corner. Again, you're gonna want to have your team kind of with you, so that like there's another angle to hold here. You can have this smoked kind of like this. And remember, if you miss a shot, it's completely okay to dash away. That's how you're gonna save yourself a lot whenever you up. This is another angle. People could sit back there, depending on how high of a rank you're in. Low ranks probably won't. They could be up here, here. And that's kind of it for mid. It's kind of hard to take mid with an op, but it's possible. So on B, this is pretty good for opping, honestly. It's the same thing, except this time you have to, you know, if someone else upping, it's still just about like reaction time and good aim. If there's no one, make sure that no one's close. You know, jiggle. They could be in this corner right here. So, or on top of this box or this box. You can hold it for a second. Jiggle. There might be a cypher camera here on the wall somewhere. People can also sit back sight, but not super often. People like to jiggle from here, so you can hold this. It's good to be patient here because people will peek often, quite frequently. So you can just hold this, wait for them to peek. Try to get a free kill. And I wouldn't suggest going much further than this without your team, because at this point you're trying to be a one-man army with an op close range, and it's kind of risky. You can't peek out like this, but it's kind of risky without your team. Also, ulting when you have an op is really good. It gives you better opportunity for close range fights. So let's say you get sight with your team, like you get a kill here on sight, clear back sight. You can either hold from pillar like this and wait for someone to peek like that. You can hold CT, wait for someone to run out, depending on what the rest of your team's watching for. So you can just play from right here, and like if the bomb's planted over there, that's pretty free. You can also play, if you want to play really aggressive, you can come up like this. I do this with like rifles, but this isn't really, I don't think, too good for opping, but it is still an option. Especially if you have your ult, like this might be good. You might consider like taking a shot, swapping, right click. Also, yeah, I wouldn't push into CT with an up. It's not really worth it. You can hold back sight like this. Just be careful if no one's watching it. Yeah. That would be pretty much it for attacking, I think. A little shorter than defense, but some slightly different ideas for attacking with an offline Jett, for sure. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to mention before I end the video is, I said this kind of in the last clip, but opping on Jett's really good. So if you're getting pushed hard, like if you're playing close, and like you're getting pushed by like multiple people, you can shoot, hopefully kill one, and then if they're still pushing it, because like the idea for the enemy team is that, like, okay, one of us probably gonna die to the op, but the second person can try to trade whoever you shoot with an op. So if you shoot, get the kill on one of them, and then you're ready with your ult, you immediately swap to it. You can right click, kill them, and if you get the kill, you get into reset. So if someone else is pushing you, you know, it's really good, because obviously shooting a shot like this, it takes a few seconds to get another shot ready. So that's why the ult's really good. I just wanted to mention that. It doesn't matter if it's here. It can be anywhere, like on any map at any time. That's how you should play if you're very if you're getting pushed by multiple people, basically. So yeah, that's it for this video. Please leave a comment if you want more guides. Like I said, I'm gonna be posting more. So if you want another character, I can give you guides for that as well. I actually have a website where I kind of make tutorials and stuff, so I've made quite a few tutorials on a bunch of different characters. I can do like lineups if you guys want. But yeah, just leave a comment, make sure to like and subscribe for future content, and yeah, have a good day. See you guys.